Shogun Showdown is one of those games that ends up having a ton of replay value simply because it has a massive amount of diversity and content that can be unlocked after you finish each run, depending on how well you can play it, while also earning yourself more currency to unlock a larger list of tiles which can diversify each run even more. Added in with the fact that I've been following it since early access, there's definitely been a steady improvement of content added over the course of time before its full release, with tons of new characters, enemies, and challenges that will continue to test your skills. In Shogun Showdown, you must use yourself and your enemy in an attempt to win each battle, preferably without taking any damage, surviving long enough to advance to the next stage and eventually to the boss battle until you finally make your way to the Shogun Castle to claim victory. Along the way, you'll run into shops and shrines and have some control over where you would like to go next in terms of your main rewards, but it is vastly RNG with the ability to choose one of two new tiles every so often, with the ability to upgrade, enchant, cooldown, and sacrifice your tiles for more gold. Sounds very simple, but don't let your ego get the best of you. While the game itself uses a very basic system, there will undoubtedly be occasions where you might get caught off guard owing to your own ignorance and not taking your time to read the patterns. You begin with the Wanderer, a simple position swapping character who starts with Swirl and Arrow, two very basic close range and long range tiles. You can acquire more sets of starter tiles by completing achievements and other tasks, and that also goes the same for each and every other unlockable character and their starter tiles alongside each of their special abilities. You have a lot of choices here because each level becomes increasingly challenging, bringing new foes, waves, bosses, elites, and more, with greater difficulties added after your first full clear of day 1 and onward. So you won't run out of entertaining content to tide you over with how much there is to unlock here. The soundtrack is a huge feature that helps to immerse you in this tense and fun turn-based RPG. One of the best things that I found was there was no overly complicated tutorials. You're just tossed into the game with the follow instructions of moving left, moving right, waiting, turning around, and viewing tiles. While you can force specific builds, you are never guaranteed that you will be able to get that one specific tile alongside all of the upgrades that you want for it, such as having a -4 cooldown with no negative side effects, or something like deal 6 damage twice with 0 cooldown in both directions every turn with a fully decked out swirl tile. Now those runs can be very fun, but they do detract from the strategy elements, making it feel like you're cheesing your way to victory instead of challenging yourself. Those runs oftentimes tend to be very rare, so it's not too much of an issue, but I did still feel like having such powerful cooldowns multiple times in a single run was a bit much. Every single time that I returned to this game for a few hours of absent-minded gaming, I always realized that there was always new content awaiting me with new locations, new enemies, new characters, and so on. They really did put a lot of work into this game over their course of early access. It'll always force you to attempt new builds, which makes each run different and fun from the rest when forced with new tiles. Even though the game can sometimes become very simple owing to the potency of some of these builds, the initial struggle to get up to that point is actually really enjoyable. You're looking at 35 to 40 minute runs with more than 20 to 30 hours of gameplay to unlock everything in this game to get the final endings. So if you want to kill some time and satisfy that turn-based itch that you have, Shogun Showdown is definitely a great option.